Devotees, my humble obeisances to you all. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I welcome you all to His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Thank you all for joining. Today we are continuing with our Srimad Bhagavatam series of second and third chapter, Your Devotional Service, and today's verse is number 12. Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for your time and association. I'll share my screen again. Yes, Maharaj.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jnanam Pratinivriti. Jnanam Pratinivrita Guromi Chakram. Atmam Prasada Utayatra Gunesha Sangaha Kaivalya Sammatapatastvata Bhakti Yoga Ko Niritu Harikatasu Ratim Na Kuyat. Translation: Transcendental knowledge in relationship with the Supreme Lord Hari is knowledge resulting in the complete suspension of the waves and whirlpools of the material modes. Such knowledge is self-satisfying due to its being free from material attachment and being transcendental as approved by authorities who could fail to be attracted. Purport: according to Bhagavad Gita 10:9, the characteristics of a pure devotee are wonderful. The complete functional activities of a pure devotee are always engaged in the service of the Lord, and thus the pure devotees engage in exchange feelings of ecstasy between themselves and relish transcendental bliss. This transcendental bliss is experienced even in the stage of devotional service, sadhana avastha, if properly undertaken under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. And in the mature stage, the developed transcendental feelings culminate in realization of a particular relationship with the Lord by which a living entity is originally constituted, up to the relationship of conjugal love with the Lord, which is estimated to be the highest transcendental bliss. Thus, Bhakti Yoga, being the only means of God realization, is called Kaivalya. Srila Jiva Goswami quotes the Vedic version, Eko Narayana Deva Paravanam Param Asti Kaivalya Samjita. In this connection, and established that Narayan, the personality of Godhead, is known as Kaivalya, and the means which enables one to approach the Lord is called the Kaivalya Panta, or the only means of attachment to Godhead. This Kaivalya Panta begins from Shravanam, or hearing the topics that relate to the personality of Godhead. And the natural consequence of hearing such Harikatha is attainment of transcendental knowledge, which causes detachment from all mundane topics, for which the devotee has no taste at all. For devotee, all mundane activities, social and political, become unattractive. And in the mature stage, such a devotee becomes uninterested even in his own body, and what to speak of bodily relatives. In such a state of affairs, one is not agitated by the waves of the material modes. There are different modes of material nature, and all the mundane functions in which a common man is very much interested, or in which he takes part, become unattractive for the devotee. This state of affairs is described herein as pratinivriti gunormi, and is possible by Atma Prasada, complete satisfaction without any material connection. The first-class devotee of the Lord attains this stage by devotional practice. But despite his loftiness, with the server's satisfaction, he may play the voluntary part of a preacher of the Lord's glory and dovetail all into devotional service, even mundane interests, just to give the neophytes a chance to transfer mundane interests into transcendental bliss. Srila Rupa Goswami has described this action of a pure devotee as nirbande Krishna sambande yukta vairagya uchjate. Even mundane activities dovetailed with service to the Lord are calculated to be transcendental or pure kaivalya affairs, approved kaivalya affairs. Om Gyan Timidandasya Gyanajana Salakaya Chaksu Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvasesa Sunyavari Pastyatya Desatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhischa Pipa Sindhu Devacha Titanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, what is it about this material world that makes living entities become so attracted to it? It is the glitter of the movement of the material energy, which makes one think that these objects in front of them, and they are connected with the senses. There's the objects of sight, the objects of hearing, the objects of smelling, the object of tasting, the objects of feeling. All of these objects float in within the three modes of material nature, or within the confines of the structures of the energy of the external feature of the Lord. And the living entity thinks, oh, I can see it, therefore I can enjoy it, I can taste it, I can enjoy it, I can smell it, there is some happiness. So the senses are attracted to the sense objects. And sense objects are stronger than the senses. This is mentioned in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that the senses are pulled towards the sense objects. But what's stronger than the sense objects is the mind. So if the mind is in line with the senses, then both the mind and the senses become pulled by the sense objects, and one interacts with the material energy in different flavors in order to taste some happiness based on these interactions. This is material life, We want to enjoy something by seeing it, some beautiful person, some beautiful environment, something attractive to the eyes, and that appears within the realm of a mundane environment. Taste is very strong. We want to taste various types of food, or even things that are related to food. And so we go and just like you'll see, what is the most prominent feature in most cities is restaurants. There are so many restaurants. New York City alone has more than 10,000 restaurants. Can you imagine? So practically on every street, there are at least 2 or 3 restaurants. And people are indulging their desire to taste different things in these different facilities offered by the material energy. And then, of course, hearing, different kinds of music, different kinds of broadcasts. All of the senses are being pulled. And the mind is in line with the senses, so the mind is also using the senses for connecting with the semshaptics. The mind is also getting pleasure from that, or some kind of pleasure, or something that attracts the mind. Now, this is material life, but a devotee he understands that all of these so-called attractive features that the material energy presented is really not attractive at all, because it's temporary, and it's sometimes, many times, and most times, practically all times, it's connected with some kind of suffering that comes with it. A devotee is not, because they're attracted to the beautiful form of the Lord. Here we are in Vrindavan Dham. In the morning we come and we take the darshan of the Lord, Shri Gaur Nitai, Shri Krishna Balaram, and the beautiful, beautiful Shama Sundar, Radha Sham Sundar. And Prabhupada sitting regally, so satisfied on his Vyasasana. These are things that attract the minds of the devotees, and they feel satisfied and happy, and they also get enlivened by such attractions, because they know these are spiritual, these are transcendental. They awaken the pleasure potency within the soul, and therefore they become happy. They hear the philosophy, they hear about Krishna, they hear about their relationship with Krishna. They spend all of their time hearing more and more about the knowledge that connects them with Krishna, or the knowledge about Krishna. And they enjoy in that way. When it comes to foodstuffs, prasadam is so variegated, so full of flavors, not limited to one type of cuisine, so many tastes, and all offered to the Lord, which purifies the food and turns it into the mercy of the Lord, which gives health, happiness, and spiritual purification. So the devotees are on a higher level. When they look at the mundane features of this material world and all of its so-called attractiveness, they just turn around and say, what a waste of time. There's nothing really there. And because they're tasting something higher, Visayan Vinivartante, Niharasya Dehinam, Vaso Rajam Vaso Pyasya, Param Driswa, Nivartante, Param Driswa, higher taste. They have a higher taste. They can give up the so-called taste of the material energy, which is considered a lower taste, but actually there's not much taste to it. Sometimes we compare the happiness or the taste of material life to already chewed chewing gum. If you get a stick of chewing gum and you chew it for a while, all the juice comes out, and then all you're doing is getting exercise of the jaw. But there's no more taste anymore. So if someone takes it, I remember, like, when we used to go to school, and even today, kids chew gum in class, and then they stick it under the bottom of the desk. And then when it's all juiceless, and if you look under the desk, probably even today it's still going on. There's varieties of chewing gum underneath the desk, even different colors. If you look at it and you think, oh wow, there's a purple one, there's a red one, there's a green one. Let me chew it. What will you get? Nothing. Just get, your jaw get tired, that's all. So in the same way, this material energy just wears out the living entity. It's trying to enjoy these peripheral things, these external things that come in the way of attracting the senses. But it's not that devotees are, they stop their senses. They use their senses, but they connect their senses to the spiritual realm, where there is beautiful smells coming from the fragrance offered to the Lord, beautiful food that comes by offering to the Lord, unlimited beautiful sights. Even when we see a devotee, we feel happy, gives pleasure to the eyes, and smell and taste. Music, we have everybody overwhelmed with different types of kirtans and different types of bhajans, different moods, different melodies, and the devotees have perfected chanting in such a nice musical arrangement. So what is the need to look towards these other things for happiness when there's nothing there? But when you try to attract the non-devotees to these things, they say, yeah, but we got our varieties too, and we're happy. They're not happy, but they have to convince themselves by saying they're happy. So a devotee is a better enjoyer of the senses than the non-devotees. We talk about giving up sense enjoyment, but devotees get sense satisfaction to a higher limit. Just like this morning, I was looking at the beautiful forms of Radha and Krishna, Radha Shyam Sundar. I was so glued to looking at them, I didn't want to go anywhere else. My mind was just going through different feelings of amazement when I was seeing such beauty, such attractiveness, such beautiful arrangements for their clothes, their jewelry. It was just, it's something they could have stayed there for hours, just simply absorbed. Well, what can the materialists do? They get something and they try it. It supposedly gives them some stimulation, and after they drop it and go on to something else. Just like you see a little child, if you give him a toy, he'll play with it for a while and then he'll throw it away. And you give him another toy, he takes it for a while and he throws it. He gets this quality of the small kids, they get attracted and then they throw it. so we've thrown it away and we don't get attracted anymore because we have a higher attraction. Because Krishna consciousness is the ultimate principle of sense gratification, sense satisfaction. You can't beat it. And we challenge anyone to outdo what we do. And let them see if they can do something better. They can't, of course, because devotees are absorbed. They're on a higher taste. They look at the material energy and all of its permutations and all of its expressions. They think, wow, it's like a dull movie it's like a movie you watched about 100 times and now you don't have anything else to watch, so you watch it again. It's just like, it's a boring rerun. There's no juice. Even the material statistics indicate that people in the material world are bored. They're actually bored. Boredom is another form of unhappiness, but they call it boredom because they don't want to use the word unhappy. But that's bored means, give me something different, give me something new, take me out of my unhappiness. Now, this is material life. And we see how people change things so often. They're always buying new cars, they're buying new watches, they're buying new people, they change partners because they get tired of the old one. So, they even have programs now. If you're tired with your husband and wife, you can go to these websites and meet somebody who else is tired of their husband and wife, and then you can have some fling with that personality that's supposed to give you some juice in your married life, which is another form of sinful activity. So material life is what it is. It just gets more degraded as time goes on, and it's never gives satisfaction. We scriptures say material life is satiation with no satisfaction, and spiritual life is satisfaction with no satiation. Devotees can keep going, they can do the same thing, and they never get tired. And the non-devotees, they do the same thing, they get full of it, and they get tired of it, and they look for something new, something different. And because they run out of things to look to find, they become degraded. Sometimes they become violent. Sometimes they become self-destructive, all in the name of wanting to experience life in a different way. You know, just like there's so many calamities in the world, and these are due to people who are not happy. A person creates difficulties for others because they're also not happy. If you're happy, you enjoy the association of others and you try to make others happy. When people are not happy, therefore they take advantage of each other and use each other in order to find some mundane satisfaction in that relationship, which doesn't last anyway. What keeps a relationship together is the spiritual fabric, which is dynamic, which means by developing that relationship, we find newer and newer expressions of happiness in that relationship. This is spiritual. That's why spirit is always dynamic. Material is always dull, jada. It's called jada or static. Prabhupada was talking of abodha jata today, abodha jata. People are abodha jata. Abodha jata means they have no knowledge. They're just ignorant. They're ignorant of themselves. They're ignorant of the goal of the life. They're ignorant about everything. They have some knowledge of how to manipulate the material energy, but the manipulating of the material energy means to become manipulated by that same energy. You can't manipulate the material energy. You can try and do that, but then material energy is under Krishna's control, so that material energy will cause you suffering when you try to manipulate it. Because you're not meant to manipulate the material energy. You're meant to take the material energy and use it for the service of the source of the material energy, Lord Sri Krishna himself. So here, the state of affairs is described as Pravit Niriti Guronmi. It is possible by Atma Prasad or complete satisfaction without any material connection. That's a very powerful point. That you don't need to be connected to anything material to find satisfaction. Just keep your connection with Krishna and whatever activities you perform, connected to Krishna, whatever sense objects you use, connected with Krishna, because they belong to Krishna anyway. He's the source of all of it. And the devotee is happy. And we feel sorry for the non-devotees. I think in the very end of the purport, you want to go down to the very end of the purport? It says, here it says, just to give the neophytes a chance to transform mundane interests into transcendental bliss, Srila Rupa Goswami has described this action for Niriti Goram as dovetailing activities in the service of the Lord, and they also become transcendental, even the mundane activities. So devotees preach to the non-devotees and try to bring them to taste something better, something higher, something that will give them knowledge and satisfy their desire for happiness. So this is Krishna consciousness. So the point is not to waste time trying to find any happiness in material life. It's like trying to get some juice from a sugar cane that's already been run through the sugarcane machine 3 times already. There's no juice there. The chewing gum is gone. All of the flavor is gone. Material life is like that. And therefore, in order to keep material life going, they try to always invent something new. Just like I'll just mention this Donald Trump. He's come up with this thing now. He had manufactured 147 watches, and these watches cost $100,000 for each watch. And he's making these available to people in general. Buy one of these watches. There's only 147 of them in production, and you become a member of this exclusive club. So what is that supposed to mean? You spend $100,000 on a watch. He's also made another second watch, which costs $800 for those who can't afford the other one. So people think, oh, wow, yeah, another watch. Wow, it can do all kinds of things. And it's usually energized by some kind of radiation that's bad for your skin in the first place. So people pay money just to shorten their life with all of these so-called gadgets that they find are interesting for their sense gratification. They get fascinated for a while, and then after a while they look for something different. This is material life. But Krishna, you can chant Hare Krishna and never get tired. You can go to the kirtan and never get tired. You can taste that same prasadam and never find it old or unpalatable. Everything about Krishna consciousness is, well, what is this word? Navayovanam. As Krishna is Navayovanam, always fresh, always youthful. So the activities of devotional service are always fresh and always, when we say, attracting the devotee more and more. In fact, it works in the other way, that the more we do the activities of devotional service, the more we get attracted by them. Where in the material world, the more they do the activities of mundane activities, the less they get attracted by that, and the more they look for something different. So stay in Krishna consciousness. This is the higher taste. We have given that name to a particular book called The Higher Taste. It's all about prasadam, but it refers to everything in devotional service. Everything is a higher taste. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj, for such a nice class and reminding us that how we get satisfaction in the spiritual activities and in the service of the Lord. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, any questions or comments or realizations, you can please go ahead now. And please turn on your cameras if possible, wherever you are. I see already Prabhu has raised his hand. Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Krishna Maharaj, this is just a technical question. Maharaj, I'm in the library. Which of the cantos you need of Stara Deepika?
No, I said, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Sarati Darshini. It's one book. Covers the whole
okay, Darshini.
Yeah, covers the whole canto.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Such a sweet, sublime class, Guru Maharaj. As you were reading the purport, I got so enlivened simply by reading that devotee loses interest in the material body, in material relationships. And I was saying, yay, I'm looking forward to this. It was so wonderful. So I'm very much feeling great satisfaction just listening to you. And I want to thank you for that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, and if you come to Vrindavan, the taste is even sweeter. Or Mayapur.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. Dear devotees,
Everybody should come to Mayapur in November. We'll be there for the first 16 days. It's a beautiful yatra and there's a lot of activities. Forget
Yes.
about whatever you're doing and just buy that ticket.
Come to Mayapur. My house is open. Please come.
Sri Devi has a house. She'll put you all in there and feed you also. If she doesn't feed you Somadatri, well, she's also there.
Between the two of us, we'll make sure they have a place to sleep, a place to bathe, and a place to eat, Guru Maharaj. Rest of the day, they can just roam around and swim in the nectar of Mayapur Dham.
Yeah, there's so much.
thank you. Thank you, Mataji, for this offer. It's very tempting. Thank you, Maharaj.
That's the reason I prayed to Mahaprabhu for a place over here. I said, please, my dear Lord, give me a place so all my God family can come. This is the only reason I prayed and prayed for that. So you have to all come now.
On the 12th of November, no, I think it's 12th, no, 8th of November, I think Sri Devi's having what they call it, housewarming ceremony. She's doing a puja at her house, welcoming her house into her house.
Jai.
So it's a big program. Come and you'll get nice prasadam. And there's a beautiful puja that'll go on. So yeah. Anyway, if you can't come to Mayapur or Vrindavan, do it where you are.
Thank you, Maharaj. Dheeraj Prabhu, yesterday you have a question. I didn't ask. Sorry for that. Can you please ask your question now?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev. Maharaj, I had my question that different planets represent different demigods. Do they act on us?
Do they what?
Do they act on us?
Yeah. As above, so below.
Do they act on devotees? Like I was hearing many lectures about the different planetary, the moon, the Saturn. They all
They all have their influence upon the living entities. For instance, I'll give you an example. The police departments around the world, especially in the bigger cities, they always have more problems on the full moon time. Because the full moon acts on the mind. And it creates emotions within the mind or higher energies within the mind. And that's when you'll find there's more crime, more problems, more activities, always around the full moon. It's true. If you study astrology, you can see how the astrological alignments in a general sense are actually affecting world affairs also. Inauspicious alignments come up, and then there's calamities, there's wars, there's catastrophes. Auspicious alignments, and then there's Mother Nature. For instance, I'll give you an example, which I mentioned many times. There's a constellation called Swati. Any of you heard of Swati out there? The Swati constellation?
Yes,
Yeah,
Maharaj.
Swati, when it rains, when Swati is in the heavens, the water that comes from the rain, when it falls on the head of a snake, it becomes jewels. When it falls on the head of an elephant, it becomes gems of various precious metals. And when it falls into the ocean, it turns into pearls, and that's taken by the oysters. So by the rain, actually, precious metals, precious minerals come from the rain. And it's all due to that constellation Swati when it aligns itself. I mean, we are controlled 100%. We are influenced by the movements of the planets, like that. That's why astrology is a bona fide science.
Previously, Maharaj, I used to wear different gemstones representing according to my astrologer, but right now I don't wear them. I just I ignored my family, like I won't wear them because I'm chanting, I'm in the path of bhakti, so I don't require them. So is it my right attitude, or
I wouldn't say you should, you don't have to stop using them, but your chanting is really everything.
yeah?
But if you're, they also help to some degree on a subtle level. I mean, there's times for travel that are auspicious, times for travel that are inauspicious, times for getting married, which are auspicious, times for avoiding marriage, which are inauspicious. A person's birth shows certain qualities, certain characteristics in that person. If you die in the month of Kartik, which is now, and then generally you get a good destination. If you're born in the month of Kartik, you get a good, your birth is considered to be fortified with extra mercy. Anyway, we are completely under the control of the material energy. But if we want to get out of the control of the material, then we have to become under the control of Krishna. But even while we're under the control of Krishna, we're still influenced by the material energy. That's true.
Yeah, Gurudev. My birth is in the month of Kartik only, Maharaj. 6th of November. It was Kartik.
Oh, good. Good. Now you have to fulfill the purpose of that birth and become fully Krishna conscious.
Yeah, Maharaj, all by your grace, all by your mercy.
Today.
Haribol. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Guru Maharaj, I just want to say something, if I may, about Dheeraj Prabhu. He has successfully completed his ISKCON disciple course. And in the past few months, I have noticed that Dheeraj has become very serious about spiritual life. Really, really serious. And it's simply marvelous to see how enthused he is about every activity he undertakes with zest and enthusiasm. He goes for it. So I just wanted to share that with everyone because he is such a delight now to talk to and be with. Previously, I used to think, oh no, there he goes again. But now I look forward to talking with him.
Okay. I'm sure he's happy to talk to you also. Any more questions, comments?
Maharaj, I was thinking like, so when we are devotees, when we want to get this transcendental knowledge, or some devotees or some people, they are more attracted to the knowledge part, like jnanis. So they eventually get bhakti, but not in one lifetime, right? So they have to go through these material modes or material energy, and into several lifetimes, and then only they'll get bhakti, or how soon they can get bhakti if they are in transcendental knowledge path.
Is there a question related to that?
Yeah, I was asking like how many lifetimes will they take? Is it it depends on them, or like how it works much?
The Gyanis?
Yeah.
Well, if they actually perform Gyan properly, then Krishna makes the statement, Bahunam Gyanamam Ante, Gyanamam Prapadyante, Vasudeva Sarvam Iti, Sa Mahatma Sadurlabaha. He said, after many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me and engages in my devotional service. So the result of knowledge is to come to the point of understanding that service to the Lord is the path of complete and perfect knowledge. Otherwise, if they just speculate and don't follow any kind of authorized path, then they can do that for many, many lifetimes.
Okay. So unless they are in a bona fide path, like ISKCON, they can't go into the bhakti, or at least they should get books from us.
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada books.
I mean, there's other bhakti organizations, but we are the most prominent, at least in the world anyway.
Mm.
Bhakti is not our exclusive control, bhakti is there in many places throughout India.
Yes.
And in places throughout the world also.
Mm. Yes, got it.
Mahanasani Radha's got a question.
Yes, Maharaj. She's asking, Hare Krishna, I would have a question. If we marry a person in this lifetime in front of the Lord, that means we are together for the next 7 lives. Does that mean we can't go to Krishna in this lifetime and we need to be reborn 6 times?
If I tell you yes, then means you won't get married. If I tell you no, then you'll think, what's the use of then I'll have to just suffer with this one person. So there's no answer to that question. Getting married means to engage in an ashram, which is called Grihastha ashram. That's the purpose of marriage, is to cultivate Krishna consciousness in the ashram of family life, where you have duties, you have obligations, and you work together as a team to support each other. And if both people perfect their Grihastha ashram in Krishna consciousness, they can all go back to Godhead in the same lifetime. So you're looking at the Karma Kanda section of the statements then. When you take the Bhakti section, the Bhakti section says that in any of the ashrams, if you become perfect, then you can achieve the stage of perfection, which is self-realization.
Thank you.
Yeah, you did it.
Thank you.
I'm still laughing at that question. But anyway.
Maharaj, there is a comment by Narsingalila Mataji. She wants to share about her notes regarding mind. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All to Srila Prabhupada Guru Maharaj. If you allow me, I would like to share on the conference some notes that I made from one lecture on stages of the mind, which were very helpful for my japa. There was a statement that sattvic non-distracted mind is a very rhythmic state. It is not boring condition, but it's a constant internal rhythm which we usually don't appreciate and is somewhat foreign for our conditioned nature because we have programmed ourselves to stay in the lower stages of the mind. Thank you.
Yeah, there's some type of satisfaction in the mode of goodness. But there's no knowledge, no real knowledge. The knowledge is still of the material energy. It's more lofty knowledge, you might say. It's more subtle forms of knowledge, but it doesn't satisfy. The mode of goodness gives you this idea of this feeling of peace and happiness. But it's also dependent on circumstances and situations. Where it says in this purport that we're reading, the devotee's mind is fixed in, what was it called? Prashadam avasta. That he's satisfied. Yeah, there's a sense of satisfaction that comes simply by connecting with Krishna. There's no external object that is needed. Akama sarvakarma uba, moksha karma udaradi, tivrena bhakti yogena, yajeta purusham param. We just finished that verse 2 days ago, which says there are people who are satisfied simply by self-realization. They understand they're not this body, they're in the mode of goodness, and they are feeling some elements of happiness. That happiness is freedom from suffering. That's all it is. Because anything in the mode of material energy is always changing. And therefore it's temporary. But in spiritual life, when you connect with the eternal, it just expands itself deeper into its own nature. So it's always eternal, and it becomes more and more of what it is. There's more knowledge, there's more happiness, there's more satisfaction in relationship to Krishna. Doesn't become less. Mm-hmm. The higher stages of the mind as a result of
proper meditation on the Lord.
Well, that's devotional. As long as the Lord is there, then it's spiritual. That is something that is desirable. That's Sudha Sattva, not Sattva.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Maharaj. Sonal Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my obeisances to all the devotees as well. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, I have this question regarding bhakti in ISKCON as we practice it, and bhakti within the other faiths. As you said that the other faiths may have different practices of bhakti, but they are still devotees. So as an ISKCON devotee, how we should stop judging others and how to respect them? Because if we make any offenses against them, it will still be a Vaishnava aparad. Is it right?
Just don't do it. Don't judge others. We should always be evaluating how we are doing. We can judge ourselves. Am I making advancement, or I'm not making advancement, or what I need to do to make advancement? What is holding me back in spiritual life? If you want to use that judgmental attitude, turn it inward. Don't worry about everybody else. You can help others, but there's no need to judge people, because it just causes the mind to become disturbed. That's all. Sometimes I find myself, when I'm on the airplane and I'm just surrounded by the non-devotees, and I just see, I can see where they're at in terms of how much they're wasting their time and how much they're interested in these dull material topics. But then I said, well, that's material life, what can you do? We want to help them by reminding them of where is real happiness, but we have to find that venue by which we can reach them anyway. So when you see yourself judging others, just don't waste time, drop it.
Yeah, no, but it's just that I've seen, because as ISKCON devotees, we get too eager to spread the knowledge, and sometimes that draws us into some mental speculation and judgmental attitude. That's the reason why I'm asking.
Well, if you're preaching, you may have to use that as an opportunity to help people, to see where they are and see how you can bring them out of it. That's all right. But when the mind just gravitates to finding fault with others in the mind, then it's not beneficial at all. A guru has to find faults in his disciple and rectify it, or help his disciple rectify it. The parents have to deal with their children, guide them properly so they don't go off in the wrong direction. The teachers have to align their students with the lessons that they're giving so they can gain something from this teaching that they're receiving. So anyone in a position of mentoring others has to sometimes find fault not find fault, but when they observe fault, they try to connect. So
Maharaj, except when we are preaching, we should not be judgmental. We just have to direct that thoughts internally. Is it right?
yeah, when you see something that's off, I mean, it's not a matter of judgmental, it's a matter of seeing what it is and trying to make a difference. That's all. I'm trying to help. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much, Maharaj.
Everyone has faults. I mean, you can spend all day doing that, and you'll just get tired and want to go to sleep after a while.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Mataji. Such an important question. Thank you. Rasavilasni Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj and assembled devotees. Maharaj, I had a question. Like in this Prabhupada, it is written that the natural consequence of hearing such Hari Katha is the attainment of transcendental knowledge, which causes detachment from all mundane topics for which a devotee has no taste at all. So, however, Maharaj, we see that even we listen to Hari Katha, our intelligence is such that due to the influence of Kali Yuga, we forget the Hari Katha even after contemplating on it. And if we remember it on that day, we still forget it after 2-3 days. So this is because Kali Yuga is so powerful that doesn't allow us to remember and trap us in the material world. So how should we listen in order to fully benefit from it?
If you read Bhagavatam, you'll find that and Prabhupada also said, I put all of the philosophical teachings in the first canto. The rest of the cantos are just a reputation, repeating what I put in the first canto in different ways. That's all. So you have to keep at it. You can't just give it up and just get it one time and expect to retain it. We're conditioned. We're conditioned by the material energy. And to break through that conditioning, we have to energize the soul through satam prasangam. That means continuous hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. Then you'll break through it. Then you'll remember it easy. Then it'll become part of you, no more external. But if you're like the elephant who goes to the shore, takes a nice bath, and then runs back on the shore, on the land, and starts throwing dirt over him again, what is the use of your bath? So bathe in the nectar of transcendental knowledge, but stay out of the bath of material dirt, because you're just putting back the dirt again after you wash it away. So continuation or reputation, or not reputation, repetition is the principle. Every day we chant, every day we read, every day we serve, every day we worship, every day we take prasadam. Every day we think of ways to use our time for devotional service. It's a continuation. Ahoy tukiya priyata, uninterrupted, unmotivated. And if you practice, look at Maharaj Parikshit. It wasn't that he became self-realized after hearing the first canto. He went through the whole 12 cantos until he got to the point of completing the Bhagavatam. At that point, he had reached self-realization. So that was 7 full days without a break of hearing and questioning based on what he heard. It may take us longer than 7 days, but still it works. And the thing is susukam kartavadmayam. It's nice. But we still like Maya, right? Yeah, Maya's still nice. She smiles so nicely. And she's always attracting us to give her a little attention. And so put the dirt back on a little bit.
So repetition works, Maharaj, right?
If you put the iron rod in the fire and you leave it there, at one point the iron rod will no longer be iron, it'll be fire. Keep yourself connected to the Krishna conscious energy, spiritual energy, and you'll become spiritualized. Your memory will become sharper. Your ability to perform activities will become more and more full of expertise. One of the qualities of a devotee is that they're expert.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Silpesh Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, I wanted to ask, what can I focus on more in Kartik month?
Oh, are you doing the Damodar prayers every night?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. At the temple?
At home.
If you do it at the temple, much more Shakti there.
True.
How far are you from Bhaktivedanta Manor?
About half an hour, but my wife's away at the moment because she's the one who normally drives me.
Oh,
I did go last week with my uncle and my mother. I took them.
half an hour is not so bad. I think the manor is good because they have programs in the morning and in the evening for Damodar. Because they have such a large congregation. That's nice. You can read Sanatan Goswami's commentary on Damodar Astakam. You can look it up online, Sanatan Goswami commentary on Damodar Astakam. He takes each verse and he breaks it down, gives you more and more meanings of the different words and of the prayer itself. I think I sent about 5 or 6 different files on Damodar to did you get them?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, yes. I need to read.
I have another 20 files that I didn't send. Because I thought 5 or 6 would be enough, but anyway, if you want more, I can do it. But there's so much. But it's a very communal type of worship. Devotees worship together. I mean, I did it at someone's house the other day, and it was 4 of us together. And it was okay. But when you do it in the temple with kirtan and prayer, and everyone is offering candles, and just the atmosphere is so transcendental.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
You need a ride? We can arrange a ride for you.
That would be good. It helps.
Where do you live? Which place?
Harrow.
You're in Harrow. You're not so far away. Anybody there near Harrow online? No. Kalakanti. She's Kalakanti. She's in Bhaktivedanta Manor. Who else do we have online here? Krishna Kaviraj. He's in South London. Who else? Sonal, where are you?
Sonal Matre.
Prabhuji, I'm very near Manor, Elstree.
Where? Which place? Oh.
Near Manor, very near Manor. It's a mile, 2 miles away. Elstree, Stanmore.
You're in what's the name of the province?
It's Elstree. It's very near the Manor.
Elstree. Elstree.
Oh, okay. Who else? You probably can take I don't know, is there anybody else? Sukavaha. You're in Harrow, aren't you? Sukavaha, right? Where'd she go? She's hiding. You're in Harrow, right?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, I am in Harrow.
Well, you send your husband. He's really nice. Pick up Shilpas and take him to the manor.
I'll tell him, yeah.
You can go too. Yeah, she's in Harrow.
I've got my classes going on in the evening, so it's a bit difficult in the evening.
What's going on?
My Bhagavad Gita, I do Bhagavad Gita classes for the devotees, so that's going on in the evening. So it is difficult to leave them and go.
Oh. Then your husband, he's always nice. He always likes to drive. He likes to drive people around, right?
Yeah. I will tell him. Yeah, he doesn't mind. We have given lift to Silpesh Prabhu before as well. It's okay. He lives close.
Silpesh, you know him anyway, right?
Yeah.
Deepak Prabhu is amazing. I love having his association. He's so cool.
Take your whole Bhagavad Gita class one day to the temple.
Yeah.
That's the best class they'll have.
I told them, but they are, still in the very neophyte stage. That we are still on the chapter 2, so they are really just not into it.
I'm taking you for a picnic in which you will light beautiful lamps.
I don't think so. They will be really happy for that as well, because they are still not into it. Sometimes they don't even come for my class, and I have to chase them up for that as well. So yeah, it's very, very new.
Who else do we have in there? There's a few other Gupta UKs they're hiding out. Prema Bhakti, he's all the way up in what is it? Not Birmingham, but what is that? Manchester, right?
Yes.
But where do you do Damodar? You do it at home?
Yes.
No, Prema Bhakti, I'm asking you. Where do you do your Damodar?
I do it at the temple, Maharaj.
At home?
At the temple.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, well, Silpesh is where there's a will, there's a way.
True, true, Maharaj, true. Thank you much. It's so true what you said about the energy, because I went on Monday at lunchtime with my uncle and another devotee who joined one of our sanghas, and the arti, it was just the energy, the kirtan, everybody was clapping, and the Narasimha Presti's two little girls sang them. Even my uncle commented it was just amazing. So yeah, it definitely rubs off on people, definitely. And I'm hoping that, they further their bhakti slowly.
Prabhupada said, I've established these temples in order for the devotees can exchange loving exchanges. This is the purpose of the temples.
Very true, Maharaj, very true. Bhaktivedanta Manor, since I've been going there, it's literally a godsend. It's transformed me, and I just love going there. My uncle comments he has peace of mind there that he doesn't have anywhere else.
Yeah, and deities are so beautiful. Radha Gokula, Nanda, Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman, even Gaurnatai, who is so small but so powerful. Okay, can we have any more questions?
Any more
Material
questions?
life, spiritual life.
Susanna Mataji?
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and you, all the assembled devotees. I was wondering if I could, it's just a little asking for help or mercy, if you agree. Because today I had a very bad experience with my father, who is a Christian, and he wants to make me a Christian. And all the time he comes to the house, I can't say no. I try to offer prasadam. He says no. And I tried every tiny little trick you mentioned in the past few days to Lila Shakti, Mataji's son. And wherever we had problems with my father, he also went to psychiatry, and he's very bad situation. But I don't want to talk about it now. Just please give me some blessings, Maharaj, to take my step towards devotees, because I can't do it alone. With just your mercy, and all of you, please do pray for me.
You're in the midst of one of the most powerful Krishna conscious yatras in the entire ISKCON society. That yatra, the Hungarian yatra, is so powerful.
Guru Maharaj also went there and humiliated me. And it's completely a mess for me now. So that's why I moved here. I didn't want to talk about it to anybody, because I feared, I have been fearing of losing my only relative. This is the only problem. But he is so completely mad that I can't tolerate this anymore.
Come to Slovenia then. You know the
Please.
devotee.
Yeah.
If you,
I was thinking of moving to Mahima.
I can't convince you because you won't listen to me anyway. But
I
you never listen to me anyway. So I'll try it anyway.
This was the reason.
You're stuck in the same thing and you have the same problems. Just get out of that situation and begin somewhere else. You're still young. Why waste your time trying to fight something that doesn't change? But I can't get to you because you won't listen. But maybe something, if you have a catastrophe in your life, and then you'll wake up. But why wait for a catastrophe to happen? Just get out of there. Just get out of there. That's all. I was preaching in America for 20 years. I was spinning my wheels. I couldn't do much. I just left America and came to Europe. And when I came to Europe, I started a whole home thing of preaching, which really developed. When you grow up and you're in your own same area, and you get stuck. People see you the same way, parents, relatives, friends, other people?
I've been trying to preach here and do my sadhana, and I quite got on well as long as it doesn't happen, but it does happen from time to time. So whatever I do, I read, I do japa, and I try to listen every day to you and all the devotees, and it still doesn't work.
Well, I'm telling you, get out of there. You don't want to get
Yeah.
out of there, stay there, and then keep fighting the way you're fighting
No,
until you can't fight anymore. Get out of there. I've told you so many years. You're still spinning your wheels in that same place. You don't have any good association. You got it. Association is the foundation by which we develop in our Krishna consciousness.
thank you, Maharaj. Yes, I do know this.
If Krishna is
Susanna,
Krishna is
pack
really
your bags. Listen to Guru Maharaj. I tell you, just listen to Guru Maharaj. Pack your bags and go.
what was I gonna say? I forgot to say it. Don't get to the point where a catastrophe forces you to change, because sometimes those catastrophes are devastating and they leave some real big scars. Just if you're not, life is meant to be used to develop happiness, and happiness is Krishna consciousness. You have to find that environment where you can fit in nicely. I mean, when I first met you, I met you in Hungary, and you were teaching all of these people how to speak English. You were one of the few English teachers who knew English and who wasn't coming from Hungary. That's how when I first met you, that was how long ago? 25 years ago.
Yes, and I've still been doing this in the afternoon, and I try to preach to them, and they are already not Krishna conscious, but at least they don't eat meat
Nope.
a lot of them, and I enjoy this. And I thought that it will work like this, but no, you can't live online your whole life.
Use your skills, your abilities, and go somewhere else and start.
It's so difficult to decide where to go, because I have Gergu here, I have these two dogs here, and this is my property, and I would like to give it up, but where? So if you say to me where, I will go there.
So what do you think,
Please.
Somadatri? She can Slovenia might help her, right?
Mm,